reason why I invested almost 10 grand into a boot camp, because I gave myself no other options. That is how much I hated my current situation at the time. If you don't know my story, at the age of 29, right before I turned 30, I was an ESL teacher for kids, and I hated it. I hated it so bad, I was desperate, searching for a career option with this goal in mind. The goal in mind being financially free, being able to work from home, and being around my future kids. Looking back 7 years later, I now am that senior developer that I aspired to be, and gained the skills that allow me to be valuable anywhere in the world. You can drop me off anywhere in the world, and I'll be able to build something just with a laptop. And the reason why I was able to succeed as a programmer and learn everything I know now, because I truly hated my current situation at the time. So if you hate your current situation so bad that you'll do anything and everything to scratch and claw yourself out of that hole, then programming is for you. My name is Phil. I became a senior developer after the age of 30. If this video becomes of use to you, please like and share and comment on the reason why you started programming. Or maybe if you haven't, tell us about a time you got a fire lit under your ass to get you started. I read all of my comments, so let's inspire each other through our stories. You know, what really clicked in my head, I think it was end of 2016 or beginning of 2017, I had this like mindset that I wanted to start programming. So, you know, I went to all the like free websites like Codecademy or Free Code Camp and try to learn on my own. And I had some programmer friends, so I was asking for tips and stuff. I just felt like it wasn't enough, and I didn't feel enough motivation. So, you know, I really wanted to change my life at the time. So I found that bootcamp brochure, and I gave him a call, and I said, hey, I want to start like learning how to program. When is your next batch available? And it actually didn't start for a while, but I just prepared. And I just remember every day I'd be on the train going to work, and I'd want to get on the other train back and go back home. You know, it's just like, I was just miserable, and I wanted to kind of, you know, because there was no like ladder to climb up or anything like that. It's just I was teaching these kids English and teaching them how to read and speak and all this kind of stuff. It was fulfilling, whatever, but it wasn't fulfilling in like the correct way where I was like gaining any skills that I was really learning. And I honestly wanted to kind of just like change my life somehow. And, you know, at the time, like I was just like, hey, I'm not old yet. You know, even though like I was getting up there in age, it's getting long in the tooth, but I had to do something. And that was like when I really decided, hey, I'm going to just put all my eggs in it. You know, I'm going to put all my money in. I'm just going to go and put the pedal to the metal and just try it, something that's totally new. I didn't even know how to, like, what programming was. I didn't even know you could use the laptop for anything other than like Facebook and chatting and stuff, you know? So that was kind of cool because I was ready to just like, I think I was ready to just learn something new, and it was hard. It was stressful. I wasn't the smartest in my class or anything like that. I was probably the dumbest actually. And I remember opening up Code Wars and I couldn't solve it. You know, it'd make me want to like, you know, I broke my confidence, but I just kept on doing it and kept on doing it. I started figuring it out. Something clicked in my head and I kept going. It was good for me. After the boot camp, after spending so much money on the boot camp and having to find my way, I did get accepted to a startup incubator with an idea that I wrote down on paper, and I like wrote the application and everything. But I did join a different startup. It was a real estate like appraisal program, and I did the front end and the dashboard. So it was cool. And he would like the CEO or whatever, he was like young, like around my age, and he was part of like the Rotary Club or something. So he found some angel investor there, and that angel investor was like, how much do you guys need to kind of like get an MVP of the product? And I remember it was like, they asked me, and you know, you don't want to be like, oh dude, I need like, you know, a massive amount of money. So it was just like, how much do you guys need to actually live? And it was just like, you know, it was probably like $10 a day, you know what I mean? Or like, to be honest, that's like all you really need plus rent. So it was a very small amount of money, you know, I was earning, but it was like a startup. And, you know, like at times, you know, like maybe you're like programming and you're not making much money as a junior developer or whatever, and you're joining a new startup and, you know, you're programming and you're trying to get things done and you are hungry. You want to go out to eat. I remember a time when I was really watching, like spending like maybe like $2 or $3 on like a Snickers bar because my sugar was low or something. But thank God, like at the startup like incubator, we had like free coffee and stuff. We were able to kind of get all that kind of stuff done. Really watching like my spending and like not like trying to like overdo it, and you know, like trying to have this goal in my head like, hey, once I get this done, even if it's not a lot of money, I'm gaining a lot of experience. It's like a video game almost, you know, I'm like gaining experience, I'm leveling up in my coding. And I definitely like did that as hard as I could. You know, I did see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Like I was able to, you know, we were able to get invested and increase my salary and all this kind of stuff and feel like very like on cloud nine and stuff like that. But there were times where I wanted to give up. I wanted to go back to teaching English. But then there's like an impulsive thought, and there's like the thoughts you like train yourself for. And I think like my impulsive thoughts were like, hey, let's go back to like the comfort of what I already know. But then like that's like my impulsive thought, right? But then like my trained thought was more like, dude, I hated that situation so much. This is why I chose this. Let's just keep going. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the mindset that I want you to get into, right? Like there are two voices in your head all the time, and it's like you can go back to your old comforts and stuff, but if you want to really build for your newer life and get what you want in life, you have to kind of listen to your trained voice, which is kind of like the reason why you're going a different way or whatever is because from comfort is to get more, like, I guess, like find purpose and find more comfort in life. And you've lived however many years, right? And you've lived like that comfort of life, and you're like, okay, maybe I can do that for the rest of my life. But you should always want something more. That's kind of like what drove me. Now I am feeling comfortable, but now I'm going through other challenges in my life as well. I just keep going, and you have to hate the current situation at that time to kind of change gears and go in like to another way, because that is how life is. If you don't give up, you'll become a senior developer. But not to quit, you have to really want to change your life, meaning change your habits and remembering why you started this journey in the first place. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it too. Coding saves lives.